Welcome back to the podcast. On today's episode, the psychology behind Jesus. Jesus and psychology, they actually go together. We got Dr. Parker roaming around the studio today.
I just whacked the camera. Keep going. I'm going to fix that.
Well, we got Dr. Parker in the house.
And we got Pastor Mike. And today we're going to take a look at how psychology and Jesus actually align pretty well.
So I got just one question before we get started. Do you know anything about psychology? This is going to be great. Oh, well, it's a good thing you know a lot about psychology. It's a good thing you know a lot about recording. It's a good thing you know a lot about a lot, because your partner over here knows very little. But the psychology behind Jesus, I'm really interested and intrigued by this subject. You know, we come in here oftentimes and we don't really have a clue of what we're going to talk about.
Show prep.
And so did you have anything? That's the question. Did you have anything? And I was like, well, I got something.
Right. I got a little something.
Yeah.
But it crossed my mind this morning as I was preparing for the show.
Yeah. He sent me a video from the pool of the waves just kind of lapping over the water, the edge of the pool. It was very calming.
Yes, I was up quite early this morning. We had the rescue dogs that all needed to be fed in their own specific particular way at their own specific particular time. They come in like they're at a resort, roaming into the buffet.
Mm-hmm.
And so they all get their special foods. And by that time, I'm awake.
See, when you say rescue dogs, the picture that comes into my mind is these dogs rushing out to rescue people. That is not the case.
No, Tish has a big heart for animals that have been neglected, abandoned, abused. And so she's a part of a rescue organization.
Yeah.
And she takes these dogs in and fosters them until they get a good home to go to.
Yep.
And so this morning I was on breakfast patrol.
Mm-hmm.
So after
Rescued.
breakfast, I went out and jumped in the pool for a little bit.
Yeah.
That's when I sent the photo of you, me in the moonlight. Not me, the pool.
Yeah. It was very nice. All right.
Nice and peaceful.
Yep. Okay. So.
And I did just a random share. I have the drone.
Yep.
That when it has the follow mode on it, where it'll follow you wherever you go. Well, I've been kind of curious as to how well it follows. So I took it out and I ran across the yard with it following me and dived into the pool to see if it would come into the pool with me.
Yeah.
And it's pretty damn smart.
Yeah.
It said no.
It said not going to go there.
It stopped.
Wow.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised when I dived in and I came up and it's above the diving board going, yeah, no.
Yeah. That is really cool.
So I'm going to experiment with other follows, see what I can get on the motorcycle, see how fast it can go. See if I can lose it.
See what all places it won't go with you.
But the idea came to me. A lot of times, especially nowadays, people approach psychology as a secular science, a secular service.
Yeah.
And they don't, blend the two in any way, shape, or form. By two, I mean Jesus, God. That's separate. That's the church. That's the pastor. I'm the psychologist. I'm the therapist. I deal with mental health. He deals with your spiritual health. They're two separate things. Maybe we should have called it mental health and spiritual health. Maybe that would have been a better opening. But anyway, as I was thinking this morning, they're actually really the same thing. And when I'll have people ask me sometimes, this is how separate the two are, is people will ask me, do you know of a Christian counselor?
Sure.
Because they're most counselors, most therapists out there absolutely do not touch that topic like the third rail on the subway or something. They're going to get electrocuted.
Right.
But as I was thinking about it, floating in the water, and going back to the roots, Freud, who, is the grandfather of all psychology, and, don't even get into Jung, but Freud, he developed the idea that the personality is constructed of three basic levels: the id, the ego, and the superego. And when we're born with the id, and the id is all of your instinctual drives. And you are born with the capacity to feel pleasure and to feel fear and to anger. And if you think about an infant, that's pretty much all there is to them.
That's their life.
You feed them, they smile. Maybe you play with them a little bit and they Google. But if you make a loud noise, they startle and they get afraid and they cry. And if they don't get what they want, they get angry.
Yep.
And they anger. And so as the child develops, the parents are teaching them a lot of don't do's. Don't touch that. Don't do this. Don't pick that up. Put that down. And so the id, which is, your basic drive. So if I'm hungry and I want food, I just walk over and take it out of your hand because the id says you're hungry, get food. But the ego starts to develop to navigate and mediate reality. So if and that's how kids learn the hard way. They go take something from another kid and the other kid smacks them back and they cry and everybody cries and parents tell them, don't take stuff out of people's hands. So they start to learn how to navigate the reality. I want the toy. How do I get the toy?
Yeah.
I could take it, but then he could smack me and mom might be mad at me. So they start to develop ways to navigate and mediate reality. And so we have the id, we have the ego developing throughout childhood. And there's so many people who kind of live there. They have their basic drives. They want pleasure. They want fun. They operate in fear. They get angry, and they live to go to work to get their needs met and to go seek pleasure. And for a lot of people, they live in the id and the ego, and the superego isn't well developed. And the superego, per Freud, was the ego is the I, and the above ego, the superego, the above I. So it's my conscience. And Freud talked about how we start to take in the principles and values of our parents or parental replacements, such as teachers and coaches and pastors. And so the ego is our ability to navigate reality safely and get our needs met. The above ego is our operating with higher principles. We start to develop empathy for other people. I may want the toy, but you seem to be really enjoying it, so I will wait and let you enjoy the toy. I'm empathizing with you. And Freud said this is where spirituality fits in, is our behaviors, our navigation of the world is governed by spiritual beliefs, in addition to the principles and values from our parents or parental replacements. And so that part's always kind of gotten lost over the last 100 years, is that our life, our behavior, our choices and everything are driven by our spirituality. And I think it does people a disservice when they come into therapy and that part is neglected.
Yeah.
In the discussion and the work that people are doing, because there's innate within us the question that everybody always wrangles with at some point. And when I say everybody, I mean everybody.
Yep.
Why are we here? What is the purpose of this? Why are we spinning around the sun on this big blue rock? I mean, in some way, shape, or form, we always have that question.
Yeah, mixed in the big three is who am I? Why am I here? Where am I going?
And so we start to decide that.
Yeah.
We decide what our identity is. We decide what our purpose in this world is. And we, by ourselves are trying to do all of this. And even Freud said spirituality fits in to this whole equation. And so I was thinking about that. I was also then thinking about the spiritual development of people.
Mm.
And this id, ego, superego concept kind of follows a very similar pattern as spiritual development, because you think about a person who has no concept of Jesus.
Sure.
And what does their life consist of?
Just wanting to satisfy themselves.
Just, I want fun. I want the food. I want, so they're, they live in fear, they get angry, and they're chasing the self-satisfaction of what it is they want in this world. And the ego develops. So we have the ability to navigate our reality, but why are we going to work? Why are we doing all of these things? And it's to satisfy our basic needs. So we live hand to mouth. We live paycheck to paycheck. So before we know, our life is filled with chasing needs and stuff. And then the ego starts to develop. How do I navigate reality? Maybe the budding of the superego in a sense. But somebody tells us about Jesus, and probably our parents, they make us go to church. So we have this concept in our mind of this entity, this being, this God. And we live by, at an ego kind of level, we live by the rules. And, how I would say majority of Christians, that's how they live. They obey the top 10, and they try to obey the top 10.
Work to obey the top 10 and avoid the big sins.
Yeah. Try not to kill anybody.
Yep.
Grit our teeth and try to be respectful to our parents. And we don't show our coveting.
Right.
We still covet, we just don't show it.
Yeah.
So we try to live by the rules of what to do and what not to do. Supposed to go to church, supposed to put on a suit, supposed to sit in the pew, supposed to sing really loud, supposed to smile and say, "Hey, brother, how are you?" We live our life by the rules to navigate what we think is the spiritual connection. And so religion fits in at kind of that level. We have all this stuff we want and need to have a life, and to have a spiritual life, we have to follow all these rules. And so just like I don't take from you because you might hit me, I don't take from you because God might smite me. How many people do you hear saying, well, God's punishing me because of what I've done?
Okay. You weren't making a Lance statement. I was going on, wait a minute. I got wrapped up there. Yeah, no, that's true.
And I shall smite thy brother.
It's like you said, the majority of people who call themselves Christian are in it in a religious way.
Yeah.
Not in a relational way.
No, I'm not going to name churches, but every single church you can name has a list of rules to follow.
Sure.
And if you don't follow those rules, there's a fair chance the pastor might kick you out if he learns of it. But everybody keeps it hidden.
If you don't repent from it and turn away. Yeah. Well, we
all know of the stories of church hurt.
Oh yeah. Tons of it out there. And the reality is that we at Grace Point have hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's mostly when we have run out of our willingness or capacity to extend grace. When that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
For the whole Christian faith is grace.
And I think that's where the transition is that some people can make, that I think Jesus wanted everybody to make.
Mm-hmm.
He came to fulfill and eliminate the law, the rules of how to navigate life. And he replaced it with one law.
LOVE.
In the discussion, the argument, the setup with whoever, the guy said, "How do I get to heaven?" He's, follow the law. What are the law? And what? Love God,
Mm-hmm.
love others. And Jesus said, and on these two, all the law hangs.
Yep.
And once you recognize, as you mentioned and have said often, it's not about religion, it's about relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Once you understand that there is no sin, sin has been cast as far from the east as from the west. Once you understand that he's not asking you to live your life in fear of punishment anymore. And once you're free from that concept that I can get punished for the bad things, that he actually took all my punishment. So now I want to get to know this guy who died for me.
Yep.
Gave up his life for me. Why did he do that? Why would he do that? What is the purpose of all of that? And what is my purpose? And now I'm going to seek my identity, and I'm going to seek my purpose from a higher order, from him, from God, from how do I get that? Is I get that through a relationship with him.
Which will answer all three questions. Who am I?
Who am I?
Why am I here? And
Why?
where am I going? If you're asking even one of those questions,
Sure.
or maybe all three, this is where you find the answers. And you're not going to find them anywhere else.
Mm-mm.
You might find replacements, but you're not going to find the actual answers.
Correct.
And so
You start that relationship, you start that conversation,
mm-hmm.
and you listen.
So
The answers will start to come.
Yep. I got a great follow-up for next week then.
Okay.
We're going to be good.
Stay tuned next week.
I'm going to actually lay out how you can very practically go about walking away from religion, or not have to worry about walking towards it.
Sure.
And walk into a close relationship with Jesus, which is really when those questions start to get answers.
And you're going to make us wait a week?
I'm going to make you wait a week.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I want to think about it a little bit.
What do I do until then?
You
listen to the podcast?
Listen to some episodes. You share this with somebody else, and hey, tell them coming up next week.
I was humbled this week when I was told that during my difficult time, I handled it by just diving in and listening to 4, 5, 6 episodes of this podcast.
I had a very similar experience. It's
serious.
Yeah. It's very humbling.
Mm-hmm.
Because really, we started this off by just simply saying, you know what? We have these conversations. Why don't we try to record a few of them and see what we can, if anybody is interested in joining in, and maybe we can help somebody. And I actually think the person who has been helped the most is probably me.
And me.
It has been really beneficial. So thank you, Doc.
You're welcome.
All right.
We're out.
Well, thank you again for joining us today.
Tune in next week to learn how to begin to develop that relationship.
Close relationship.
Close.
With the Lord Jesus. All right. Well, have an awesome week. And we will see you.
Thank you guys for tuning in to Just These Guys. You know, we'll catch you next week. I would dance, but I have no rhythm.
You don't? I have tons of rhythm in my mind. That's the only place it is.